Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. We are here to help you see the new you. This is Attorney Carlo Ibanez live from Parañaque.
And this is Attorney Sheilla streaming live from Libang, Muntinlupa. Good evening and welcome to the 6th episode of YoLaw. Good evening, world.
Hello and good evening once again. We are back. Good evening, Sheila.
Good evening, Carlo.
Alright. So maganda yung usapan ngayon.
Yes.
Yung mga girls. Kaya nga nakapink ako kasi I get
For all the women.
my feminine side.
Oh, okay. Okay, we dedicate this show to all the women out there who are suffering in silence, who still can't, find their voice. So I hope that you learn something from this episode tonight. Before we start on Carlo, on the topic itself, just wanted to give a short background on how the law came about. This was mentioned in one of the earlier cases decided by the Supreme Court, wherein they the Supreme Court discussed the law and explained how the legislation came about. The highest court said that our country, despite being hailed as the bastion of Christianity in Asia, has failed to prevent or curb the pervasiveness of violence against women. In fact, records would show that the years prior to the enactment of this law, that was before 2004, it was reported by the National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women that for the years 2000 and 2003, female violence comprised of 90% of all forms of abuse and violence. And 90% of those reported cases were committed by the women's intimate partners, such as their husbands or live-in partners. That is why, after years, 9 years of spirited advocacy by women's group, RA Public Act 9242, are an act defining violence against women and children, providing for protective measures for victims, prescribing penalties therefore, and for other purposes, took effect on March 27, 2004. So now we're just going to discuss the law very briefly, just like a primer.
Correct. So, ano pala usapan natin yung violence? Kala ko music is a violence. Anyway, all right. So, simulan natin ang ating pag-uusap. So, ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon is violence, hindi violence, against women and children. No?
Alright.
So, who are the persons na pwedeng mag-commit ng violence under sa batas?
You mean for the men?
Mhm.
These acts can be committed by the husband or ex-husband, live-in partner or former live-in partner, the boyfriend or girlfriend or ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, dating partner or former dating partner.
Okay. So sa ano naman, sinong covered nito pagdating sa mga women? Sinong covered ng batas na to?
Well, covered dito is the woman who is the wife or yung former wife or kaya the woman with whom the person with whom the offender has or had sexual relationship or dating relationship with, or someone with whom he had a common child, or against the woman's child, whether legitimate or illegitimate. When we say children, they are those below 18 or minor, or even above 18 years of age, for as long as they are incapable of taking care of themselves, meaning they have some mental incapacity of some sorts. There.
Yun. So, covered ng batas nito, hindi lang asawa, no, ng lalaki, hindi rin hindi lang former asawa. In fact, medyo broad, no? Any
Yeah.
person, any woman who had sexual relationships. So, nagkaroon sila ng masayang happening, no? Tapos, hindi lang yun. Sexual relationship, kahit dating relationship, di ba? Hindi lang sex, kahit hindi kayo nag-sex, basta nag-date kayo. So,
Correct.
mga couple, kasama dyan, mga couple, kasama dyan. Yun. Tapos, yun, syempre, pag nagkaanak kayo, kasama rin. So, siya covered. Alright? Tapos, ang result ng violence na to, it had to result in either physical harm, yung nasaktan ka talaga, no? Sexual harm. May definition dito ng sexual violence eh. Mamaya di-discuss natin dyan. Merong psychological harm, no? So yung pag-iisip mo, nasaktan yung pag-iisip mo or yung psychology mo, no? Tapos meron ring economic abuse. So hindi lang violence, economic abuse. Mamaya malalaman nyo kung ano tong economic abuse, pero ano may kinalaman sa pera. Okay, saka ibang mga acts of threat. Isa-isay natin. Ano ba tong physical violence?
Well, actually, physical violence would refer to acts that include bodily or physical harm. Ng kahit anong klaseng pambubugbog. Yan, pananakit.
Okay. Kasunod sa physical violence is sexual violence. Sexual violence refers to an act which is sexual in nature. No? Sexual in nature, which may include, pero hindi limited sa rape. Okay, so ni-rape mo yung babae. Sexual harassment, acts of lasciviousness. So, kahit hindi mo ni-rape, pero hinaras mo sexually, tapos may acts of lasciviousness. Acts of lasciviousness, ibig sabihin niyan, basta hindi napasok yung penis. Yun yung acts of lasciviousness, no? Threat to the woman as treating a woman as a sexual object, sabi yan. So, pag tinatrato mo na sexual object lang yung babae, violence yan, no? Making demeaning and sexual remarks. So, hindi lang physical, no? Mga verbal lang. Pag binapastos mo yung babae, kasama rin yan sa sexual abuse. Tapos, physically attacking the sexual parts of the victim. Yan, sabi ng batas, sexual parts of the victim. Tapos, madami pa. Forcing a woman or her child to do sexual films, no, yung ginagawan mo ng mga porn movie yung girl. Pero syempre, ang keyword dito is forcing, di ba? Kung trip naman nila pareho na maggawa sila porn movie, parang yung dati, yung sa parokya ni Edgar, di ba, dati gumawa sila porn. So hindi violence yun kasi trip nila pareho yun. Basta forcing. Yun. Alright. Basta yun, si sexual violence. So, another kind of violence na encompass ng batas nito is psychological violence. Ano ba itong psychological violence?
These are acts that's, causing mental or emotional suffering on the part of the victim. This may include harassment, intimidation, stalking, damage to property, public ridicule or humiliation, repeated verbal abuse, and marital infidelity. It also includes yung allowing the victim to witness physical, sexual, or psychological abuse of a member of the family.
Yes.
These are psychological violence.
Okay. So, ang sunod na klase ng violence or abuse na kasama sa batas na to or pinipigilan ng batas na to is yung tinatawag na economic abuse. Ang economic abuse, ibig sabihin yan, it dwells on the finances, no? So, you make a woman financially dependent upon you. So, kumari, walang trabaho yung asawa mo o yung girlfriend mo. Tapos hindi mo binibigyan ng pera, di ba? Or kumari, may anak kayo, hindi mo sinusuportahan, ganyan. That would be economic abuse, no?
Right.
In fact, kahit may pera yung live-in partner or yung wife or yung girlfriend, pag ikaw naman na nagko-control ng money yung girl, ano pa rin yun? Economic abuse din yun. So, may kita dito na hindi lang basta violence, whether physical or sexual ang encompassed by this law. Napaka-broad niya. Even economic abuse, violence siya. Alright? Yun. In fact, medyo seryoso tong topic ngayon kaya medyo nagpipigil ako sa mga jokes kasi medyo trending pag nag-joke tayo tungkol sa mga no? Kaya seryoso, behave na ako tonight.
Behave ka muna tonight.
Okay, who are likely to commit these acts against the woman?
Like what we mentioned kanina, this could be committed by the husband or ex-husband, live-in partner, former live-in partner, the boyfriend or girlfriend or ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, the dating partner or former dating partner. You that I said ex-girlfriend because this would cover lesbians with whom the woman has or had sexual relationship with.
Okay, tama yan. So nabanggit mo yung mga lesbians, no? What about, nagtanong sa atin kanina nito, nasa studio tayo paano yung lalaki naman? Paano pwede ba sila magdemanda under sa batas na to? Kung wari sila yung ginugulpi nung babae, pwede ba sila magdemanda?
No, the answer is no, because this law was legislated specifically for women and their children. And actually, the remedy available to a battered husband or the partner of an abusive wife is to file a criminal complaint under the revised penal code. Meron namang mga batas na pwede mag-cover nun. But not under RA 9242.
Or, ayun nga pala, na-mention natin, pag binabanggit ng mga abogado ang VAUC, ang ibig sabihin niya, itong batas na to, Violence Against Women and Children. Common VAUC. So, itong batas na to, VAUC to. Alright. Now, ano ang mga kuwari, nangyari na tong violence sa isang girl, no? Paano ang gagawin ng isang victim? Ano pwede niyang gawin para ma-vindicate siya or to file against sa man?
Well, actually, the victim can file a criminal action or she can file for a protection order. The protection order can be filed as an independent action or as an incident in a civil, criminal, or other remedies.
Okay, so isa natin yan. Doon muna sa protection order. Meron tatlong kinds of protection order. Yan yung tinatawag natin BPO, hindi ito yung call center ha. ano siya, is barangay protection order. So ito yung kinukuha sa barangay ng isang woman or anyone na interested para hindi makalapit yung yung lalaki yung sa girl basically. Alright? TPO kasi barangay protection order. After nyan, meron tayong TPO, temporary protection order. So temporary protection order naman, parang rin yan, parang DPO rin yan, pero hindi mo na sa barangay kinukuha yan, sa court na yan. So, ang next is the PPO, di ba? Yan yung yan yung sinasabi mo pag nakita ka ng hindi nakakapagsalita. PPO. Permanent Protection Order, PPO. Okay? So, yung protection order, yung TPO mo, pwede i-convert yan sa permanent. So, hindi na siya temporary. So, may permanent na siya yan. Apply na yan. Okay? So, gawin natin. Kumari, hindi pala ako. Si Sheilla, isang battered wife. Gusto niya kumuha ng BPO. Anong kailangan niyang gawin?
Ng BPO. Okay. Well, I will go to the barangay office and I will I will file a verified complaint, of course, an application for a barangay protection order. And this can be issued by the punong barangay. And in his absence, kung ba wala doon yung punong barangay, pwede namang any kagawad. But the kagawad must attest that there is the punong barangay is not available and that yung BPO na yun pala is effective for 15 days.
Okay. Ito, totoo may nagtanong sa akin ito dati. Kasi sabi sa batas, any barangay official in the absence of the captain, di ba, pwede mag-issue ng BPO. May tanong sa akin, kung ang tanod ba daw pwede mag-issue ng BPO?
Actually, ang tanod, hindi naman siya part ng council, barangay council di ba? Parang tanod is lang sila what do you call it? They're the ones in charge of keeping peace. Parang
yun. So, yun ang sagot. Hindi pwedeng tanod. Kailangan counselor, barangay counselor. Okay. Idadagdag ko lang na ang application for BPO or kahit PPO or TPO, hindi lang yung battered or yung woman ang pwede mag-apply, no? Kahit yung mga kamag-anak niya or any interested person, kung natatakot si ma'am or si miss, no? Na i-demanda yung asawa niya. Siyempre, hindi mapipigilan yan. Kahit yung yung nanay niya o yung kapatid niya, pwedeng mag-apply nito para sa kanya. Okay? So, next, TPO naman tayo. Yun nga, pag nakita ka na hindi nakapagsalita. Hindi, TPO pala muna tayo. TPO. Ano man joke sa TPO? Wala akong maisip.
Huwag na.
Okay. Pag nakita ka ng lasing, TPO, tipsy.
Tipsy.
Okay. TPO. Tama.
TPO. Actually, TPO naman is issued by the court upon filing of the application. Ex parte yan given by the court. And it is effective for 30 days. So, within the period before the 30 days expires, the court sets a hearing, sends out a notice to the respondent and sets a hearing on the merits why a permanent protection order should be given. Yun.
So, ibig sabihin ng ex parte, hindi kailangan ng hearing yan. Pag PPO.
Yes.
No? Tapos maghihiling lang pag PPO na.
Yes, pag permanent protection order na. Correct.
Permanent protection order na. So yan ang mga acronyms na ginagamit ng mga abogado. Again, PPO, PPO, PPO. No? Okay. Right. Ang gusto mong i-discuss tungkol dyan sa PPO, PPO, and BPO. Mga protection order.
Gusto ko i-discuss.
Okay. I-discuss pa ba natin yung mga jurisdiction? Siguro masyadong technical na to, no?
Oo nga.
Oo. Sige.
Maybe you can just tell them what, ano yung mga reliefs na pwedeng ibigay ng court sa permanent protection order.
Well, madami-dami rin yan. Unang-una, prohibition, no? Prohibition from, the respondent is prohibited from threatening to commit personally or to another any acts of violence. So, syempre, pipigilan siya na gawin kung ano man yung acts of violence. No? Tapos, pipigilin na siya to contact yung girl. So hindi niya pwedeng tawagan, hindi niya pwedeng puntahan. Pwede siyang paalisin, removal from the residence, no?
Right.
Actually may merong weird situation dito dati na nangyari doon sa isang kaso namin dati. Dahil dito, so nagkaroon ng sexual relationship si Amo saka si Inday. Ngayon, si Inday nag-file ng PPO, Permanent Protection Order, nakuha niya. Napaalis si Amo sa sarili niyang bahay. Si Inday nandun nakatira sa bahay niya na hindi niya pag-aari. So ang napaalis yung may-ari ng bahay. So pwede mangyari 'yan kasi ganyan ang protection ng batas eh. Pwede kang mapaalis sa residence mo. So 'yon. Aside from that, ano pa ba importante? Yung mga automobile, pwedeng makuha rin ng girl yan. So ganun rin, kung nagkaroon ka rin ng sexual relationship with Inday, pwedeng makuha niya yung kotse mo at bahay mo, di ba? And imagine this, that the TPO and the BPO is ex parte, walang kahiring-hiring yan, mapalayas ka sa bahay mo, makukuha yung kotse, di ba? So magpakabait ko sa mga babae. Pwedeng mangyari talaga yan. Okay. Yun. So, yun lamang yung mga importante. Aside from that, syempre, kung may firearm, hindi niya pwedeng gamitin yung firearm against them. Damages, pwedeng pagbayarin ng damages. Ganon. Yun ang remedies. And of course, pwede mong ipakulong yung husband or yung live-in or sino man yan. Yun. Alright.
Malapit na yung break. Sige.
Malapit na break, mahaba pa tayo. Sige, bilisan natin kung skip na natin yung mga ibang masyadong importante. Okay. Penalties. Anong penalty sa vowsy? Pag napatawa ng vowsy ang isang lalaki?
The penalties range from imprisonment of 1 month and 1 day to 20 years in prison, depending on the severity of the offense committed. And also penalties, payment of damages amounting to 100,000 up to 300,000, and also mandatory psychological counseling or psychiatric treatment for the offender or the respondent.
Yun. Okay, sige, bago tayo mag-break, discuss natin yung battered woman syndrome. Yeah. Itong battered woman, ito ba yung pinahiran mo ng mantika, yung babae? Okay. Ano ba yung battered woman syndrome na very common sa mga vowsy cases?
Actually, yung battered woman syndrome, it's actually a pattern of psychological and behavioral symptoms present in women who have been subjected to a long history of abuse. The law recognizes that in a man and woman relationship, it is the woman who's always in the disadvantage. And when a woman retaliates and commits violence as an act of self-defense, then because she is suffering from a battered woman syndrome, then she's actually exempted from criminal liability. It can be used as a defense. Kasi it's a condition. But of course, it has to be there has to be a professional finding by a psychiatric expert that she is indeed suffering from a PWS, battered woman syndrome.
Diba? So, talagang ang common na opinion dito sa batas na to is luging-lugi kaming mga lalaki, no? Kasi pwede na kaming makulong. Pwede pa kaming makuhanan ng bahay, ng kotse. Tapos, pag gumanti pa yung babae, wala pa kaming magagawa, no? The reason for this is that talagang tingin ng batas sa babae is they really need protection. Kasi nga, most often than not, wala silang laban. Wala silang laban sa mga lalaki. Most often than not. Yun. So, may gusto ka pang sabihin bago tayo mag-break, Sheilla?
Actually, wala naman. We can proceed to have a break and then we will come back to answer their questions. Please don't go away and stay on the stream.
Yes. Huwag kayong aalis. we're back. And we are here to answer your questions. Medyo magaganda yung mga tanong na nakita ko so far.
Okay, go.
Question and answer. If may mga tanong lang kayo, just post it in the comments and we will try to answer as best we can. All right. First question, galing kay Gian. Gian Season ng Emotion. What if sex and filming it was consequential for private use, but was released or shown to the friends by the man? Put that down. Anong opinion mo dyan, Sheila?
I think that's still covered because if I was the wife, it would cause so much psychological stress on my part, diba? I mean, if it's just for private use for both of you, it should not have been shared.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Agree naman ako sa'yo. Ano yan eh, yan yung parang yung si di ba, si Hayden ko before na lang, na para sa kanilang dalawa lang yan. Although consensual yung pag-video kasi gusto lang i-video sarili nila pareho. Ang usapan, walang i-release. And nung na-release sa public, syempre it will cause psychological abuse yan eh, di ba?
Worse, yes.
Oo, masakit yan. Nakahiya yan, di ba? So yun, pwede yan. Pasok yan sa policy. So yung mga Gian, yung mga videos mo dyan, wag mo i-release sa'yo lang yan.
Right.
Alright. Next. Yan. If no medical report was given but was placed on blotter, does it matter? Okay. This is probably for for physical abuse ang pinag-uusapan natin dito.
Right.
Well, yan eh. Like I've been saying before, this is a matter of evidence. No? Anong ebidensya mo? Kumari ginulpi ka or sinaktan ka ng boyfriend mo. Ano ang ebidensya na ipoprove mo? It could be medical report, magandang ebidensya yan, di ba? At blotter is also an evidence of physical abuse, di ba? So whatever you have na evidence, magagamit yan. But as long as mapoprove yung fact na nasaktan ka. Pero hindi pwedeng sabihin na one piece of evidence is better than the other. It depends. Kuwari, medical report niya, pero pangit naman yung medical report. Kuwari, kung tinignan ka ng doktor, lasing yung doktor, di ba? Tapos walang nakitang mga bruises yan, di ba? Pwede pangit na evidence siya kahit medical report yan. Yung blotter naman, kahit piece of paper lang siya, pwedeng detailed siya, tapos maganda yung paggagawa, mas malakas siya. So it's a matter of evidence. Walang better evidence or walang template kung anong evidence ang dapat gamitin with regards to vowsy or any other case like this. Anong opinion mo dyan, Sheila?
Well, actually, kapag blatter mo, pwede ka rin naman mag-attach ng photos, di ba? Pakita mo yung bugbog mo, yung mga bruises, picture mo, attach mo din sa blatter. Well, the police officer, usually sa women's desk yan eh. Siyempre, they can attest to the fact that when they make the report, na nakita nila yon and then they attach the photo. So I think that would be convincing. Kasi kung ayaw nila pumunta sa medical legal or hindi sila pumunta sa medical legal, I think that will be a good evidence na din.
Correct. Tama yun. So, ipunin nyo lang lahat ng mga evidence niyo. Tapos, pagdating ng time, ipapresent sa court yan, and the court will determine which is, kung sino nagsasabi ng totoo sa inyo. Tapos, kung dapat ba talagang, parusahan yung inyong, boyfriend or asawa.
Right.
Okay, next question. Cha Sabas. Economic abuse attorney. How can I obligate the father of the children to share for all the expenses and responsibilities? Okay, gusto mo sagutin?
Actually, when you file a permanent protection order, one of the relief that the court can grant is to direct the respondent to provide financial support to the woman and her children. So pwedeng yun maging order ng court and he will be compelled. This is even before the final decision is rendered.
Yes. So isang remedy yan. Actually, madaming remedies when it comes to when it comes to support. Ang unang-una, and I always advise this to my clients pag ganito, unang-unang dapat gawin. Pag-usapan nyo muna. Try nyo lang muna na pag-usapan, di ba? In fact, pwede naman kayong gumawa ng MOA or a Memorandum of Agreement kung nasaan, nandun yung mga nandun yung mga gusto mo, tapos pwede mag-negotiate siya, hindi ko kaya to, di ba?
Mhm.
Balik-balikan kayo, negotiate kayo hanggang makakuha kayo makakuha kayo ng common ground na pareho kayo okay sa inyo. Magpipirmahan kayo, and if you want, you can submit to court para para official siya, di ba? Pwede 'yon. Pero kung ayaw, meron yan, yung vowsy, pwede mong i-file yung vowsy. Pwede rin naman, mag-file ka ng civil case for support. Sa civil case for support, ganun din, i-determine ng court kung ano yung mga responsibilities ng asawa mo or ng boyfriend mo or yung tatay ng anak. Tapos, di-determine niya yon based on not just the capacity niya, but yung needs niyo rin. Tapos, pag na-determine niya yon, gagawa siya ng order. Gagawa siya ng order na dapat sundin nung lalaki. So, ganon. So, madaming remedies dyan na pwedeng gamitin. And vows, of course, is one. And this is probably the most, kumbaga extremes na to, yung wala na talagang pag-uusap, yung hindi na madaan sa mga usapan, hindi na nagpapakita. And yung mentality mo as a girl na kung hindi ka magbayad, makulong ka na lang. Yun, ganon. So, vows na yan. Punta ka na sa vows.
Yeah.
Alright. So, may mga tanong
Okay.
pa.
Ano pa ang mga questions?
Ayan, paano pag battered husband? Pag battered husband, maligo ka para wala ka ng mantika sa katawan mo. Para wala kang hindi ka na-battered. Okay, kung hindi, battered husband. Alright, ang batas ng vowsy, gaya nga ng sinabi ni Sheilla, is only for the woman. Hindi kayo pwedeng mag-file sa vowsy, under the vowsy, kung battered husband ka. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin niya na papagbugbog na lang tayong mga lalaki, no? Hindi mo pwede yan. Diba? Meron tayong mga ibang batas na pwedeng puntahan or pwedeng mag-file tayo ng kaso under sa ibang batas. Ano itong mga batas na to? Siyempre, na-revised penal code, di ba? Yung physical injuries, kung nagulpi ka talaga or talagang halos mamatay ka na, pwede ka mag-file ng frustrated murder, di ba? Kung ganun kalakas yung asawa mo. Diba? Tapos, meron ka rin pwede ka rin mag-file ng civil case for damages. Kunwari, yun nga, may psychological abuse ka rin, na ka rin, meron ka rin mga stress, sleepless nights, ganyan. Pwede ka rin mag-file ng moral damages. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin na wala tayong remedies. Meron pa rin. Pero itong batas na to, under vowsy, this is exclusively for women.
Right.
Anong masasabi mo dyan?
Agree. This law is actually, this was made for women and their children. So, medyo men cannot file invoking this law.
Okay. Kaya itong kapatid ko, pinahihirapan tayo. Ang hirap ng tanong niya. Babasahin ko. Kuwari hindi ko na basa. Alam mo ba sagot niya?
Pinost nila.
Pinost na. Kunwari nga, hindi natin nabasa eh. What is the prescriptive period of vowsy? Alam eh. I-research natin yan. Dali. Google natin ha. Alam niyo kasi kami mga abogado, hindi naman namin memorize yung mga prescriptive period, lalo na yung mga penalties, hindi namin memorize yan. Pero si Google, memorize niyan. Dali. Prescriptive period. Vowsy.
Kasi may question na tinatanong. May question na tinatanong.
May question na tinatanong.
May question na tinatanong. Tinatanong kung yung husband daw, can a wife file a complaint for vowsy against her husband committing marital infidelity in another country? Yun.
Okay, mas maganda yan. Mamaya na yung tanong ni Ann.
Okay.
Attorney, ano yan? Anong tanong?
Can a wife file a complaint for vowsy against her husband committing marital infidelity in another country?
In another country. Okay. Sagot dyan, kasi if we're going to file against vowsy, ang vowsy, ang criminal cases actually is jurisdictional. Ibig sabihin, kung saan ginawa, doon po magpa-file. So, strictly speaking, ang tanong, can you file? Yes, you can file, but you have to file in wherever they are, not in the Philippines, di ba? Pero pwede kayong mag-file, syempre. Ganon.
Actually, that's the general rule, but when it comes to vowsy, pwede pa rin sila filed because actually what the law criminalizes is not the marital infidelity per se, kung ito ang gagamitin mo na ground, kasi you can, depende sa abogado eh. So, but if you use this as the ground, saying na yung repeated marital infidelity niya, although committed abroad, cause mental or emotional suffering on the woman and her children who are here in the country, then the court can take cognizance of the case.
Pwede
Diba?
yan.
So, pwede siyang ma-file dito. Because the suffering of the victim is one of the essential elements of the crime, of the commission of the offense. So it can actually be considered as a transitory or continuing crime. Diba? So kahit nandun siya, doon niya ginagawa. For example, tapos yung mistress niya, nagpo-post pa sa Facebook, diba, ng mga pictures nila, intimate photos. Tapos natatag yung mga friends. So syempre, the humiliation, the ridicule na feel ng wife, ng legal wife, and yung mga children niya dito sa bansa, diba? So that would cause a lot of psychological stress, emotional suffering on their part.
Ang galing walang lusot sa'yo yung walang lusot sa'yo sa laki siya na. Talagang hinahabol mo kahit nasaan ka. Ang galing. So, yan.
Kahit nasaan ka pa.
Ang kunin yung abogado pag merong merong
Di pwede tumago.
Naghahanap ng paraan yan si Sheilla. Okay. Attorney is opening an adult business legal in the Philippines. I live in Japan. I own one here. Ano? Talaga? Joke ba yan? It's opening, you own one here. Well, bawal yan. Bawal yan sa bawal sa
Dito, yeah.
adult business. Ibig sabihin yung mga sige, hindi ko na lang i-mention. Na mahilig mahilig yung tawagan, ganon. All the spa, mga ganon. Bawal yan. Yon. Ngayon, if you have a business here in the Philippines na ganyan, I'm sure may front ka dyan. May front ka dyan. Hindi mo pwedeng i-advertise yan eh. Mahuhuli talaga, di ba? Ayun. Okay?
Okay.
Saan ba yan? Saan ba yung business natin yan? Dadalawin kita para lang i-advertise na bawal yung ginagawa mo. All right. Mga tanong pa ba? Okay. Medyo gana yata. Okay, so good. So, mamaya pag may tanong lang kayo, i-post nyo lang, no? At sasagutin namin 'yan. Tamang-tama dahil dahil 9:50. We have to go on a break again. And after this break, if meron pa kayong mga tanong, ipasa nyo lang, i-post nyo lang dyan. We will be back. We will be right back.
Okay.
Okay. So, nakita ko na yung yung tanong ni Ana. No?
Okay.
Descriptive period ng bawsi, depende sa ginawa.
Yeah.
20 years kung yung wait na ha, 5 kung mga physical harm, threatening, sexual harm, yan, siya, 20 years. So 20 years, ang napakatagal, no? Tapos, pag naman 5G, ano ba ang 5G? Pag 5G, G below. Ayan, yung mga ano, pag mga ano, stalking, mental or emotional anguish, 10 years naman. 10 years naman yon. So, it's either 20 or 10 years depende sa ginawa, no? So ang tagal, pwede talaga magdemanda kahit ano na, matatanda na nga yung mga bata, pwede pa rin magdemanda, no? So ano talaga, mahirap talaga sa ating mga guys. So magpakabait na lang tayo sa mga asawa natin, walang solution. Okay, follow-up question. Si Kimberly, follow-up question. To that the father with no show, nor financial support, but good communication with us the kids. What can the kid do? Or ages that they can show up on court and be the witness against their father. Okay. I think the question is, yung tatay nila hindi nagsusuporta pero mabait naman sa mga bata, di ba? What can the kids do? So to help their mom, I guess. Well, if you're the kid, well, we can say that pwede mo naman demanda ang tatay mo, di ba? In behalf of your mom, pwede naman yun. But that's us as a lawyer. Pero, being the children, I think siguro pwede nyo pwede nyo namang matouch ang puso ng tatay ninyo, di ba? Para sabi nyo, nasuportahan naman yung nanay ninyo, no? Now, the next question, can they show up in court to be a witness against the father? Diba? Against the father. Oo naman. There's actually no age. Pero kung below 18 kayo, you have to be, kailangan samahan kayo ng guardian nyo, which is probably your mom, no? Kung kinakailangan. Pero, medyo iniiwasan ng court yan na paupuin ng mga children, especially sa mga ganitong mga cases, no? Pero, technically speaking, pwede naman.
Yeah, I think unless extreme cases of violence yan, I would avoid presenting the children against the father. I mean, if it's just financial support, then I think you can present evidence other than, the children as witnesses.
Okay. Another question. Can you file for a demand or case, can you file for a demand or case if there is no med-cert, only blatter? Again, like we were saying, it's a matter of evidence. So as long as you can prove the violence, if we're talking of violence, minsan kahit nga walang dokumento may mga witnesses ka lang, no? May mga witnesses ka. Or physical examination, talagang bugbog ka talaga, mapuprove mo yung violence. So, it depends on how well you can prove your case.
Actually, even other people can file the cases. It's a public crime, no? Halimbawa, yung kapitbahay nyo who has been a witness to so many pambubugbog sa'yo ng husband, na hindi na nila matake. So, and they have personal knowledge of the offense committed. They can actually file the case. And they can testify against the offender.
Okay. Next question. Pwede ba mag-file ng case ang legit wife against the mistress? Covered ba ito ng violence against women? Okay, depende, di ba? Depende, syempre. Kung yung against the mistress,
No, it's women.
Hindi. Hindi dito sa VAUSI, hindi siya under the VAUSI. Kasi against the mistress, dinedemanda mo yung babae. Sa VAUSI, ang dinedemanda mo yung lalaki.
Right. Ito yung last week's topic natin.
Yan yung topic natin last week, yung adultery and concubinage. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin wala kang Sarah, wala kang remedy. Ibig sabihin lang, hindi VAUSI ang batas na tatakbuhan mo, no? Depende kung anong nagawa nung mistress, 'di ba? Kung pasok 'yan sa concubinage. Gaya ng describe namin last week, hindi every time you can file a case for concubinage, 'di ba? Or kung adultery naman, kung may asawa naman yung mistress, pwede rin. Pero depende. Pero hindi tayo sa VAUSI papasok yan. Okay, panoorin mo yung episode namin last week na sa pa siya. Nakapost.
Okay.
Ito, next. Thank you, attorney. What can I do if the father is always saying he has no work? How can I oblige him? Okay. Masagutin ko, Sheila.
I think nasagot mo na yan kanina, di ba? There are ways how to, parang compel the father to give support. Yan. I think that was your answer to the previous question. Similar.
Yun nga. Tama naman. Saka yun nga, kung ano, if all else fails, kung wala na talaga kang makuha, di ipakulong mo na lang. Ganon, di ba? At least makulong na lang siya. Ganon. Okay. Next question. What if physical harm was done, like extreme cases, like near murder, can you still get back? Get back, huh? Okay. If we're asking if we can file a case under VAUSI, definitely, no? Definitely you can file a case under VAUSI kasi physical harm talaga ito, physical violence talaga, no? Definitely. Now, kung murder, kung muntik ka na mamatay, pwede ka rin mag-file ng case for frustrated murder, di ba? Iba naman yon, frustrated murder. Ngayon, you're asking how can you get back at this guy? Well, hindi siguro abogado ang kailangan mo dyan, no? Hitman siguro kailangan natin dyan, no? How can you get back? Oh, pero yun, you have a case under VAUSI. Alright. So, mga tanong pa ba? Pang good na tayo.
Before yung ibang questions, just want to greet yung mga viewers natin na palaging nanonood, especially my family from Adelaide, my sister and my mom, and also my son in the Gold Coast. Our friends from Tokyo, from Dubai, from Saudi Arabia, from the US, from Texas, from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Sweden. Yun, palagi silang nanonood sa atin, Carlo. So I just want to greet them. And our families, of course, thank you for supporting us, especially when we have live stream every Thursday. Talagang hindi tayo pinagtatrabaho, di ba? Lahat sila gumagawa so we can concentrate on the show. Yeah.
Salamat. At gusto ko bigay ng special mention kay Edward Corda kasi sobrang supportive niya today. Kita mo sa natin siya ng So thank you, Ebot. No? Wait, tingnan meron pang mga pahabol na tanong. Sige, may oras pa tayo. Okay. Attorney, what if the child or partner was raped by the man? But the victim was not able to get medical legal and the crime was done years ago. May chance pa ba mag-file? Ayan, si Sophie. Talod ng sinabi namin kanina, 20 years ang prescriptive period nitong VAUSI. So, basta within 20 years, pwede ka pa mag-file niyan. Now, kung wala kang document, again, as long as you can prove it, no? Kung may mga nakakita, merong mga witnesses ka, pwede pa rin niyang i-prove yung crime, which has happened years ago. Pwede pa rin yan.
Correct. Agree.
Agree. Okay. May isa pang tanong.
May question.
What about the rape happened 2007? Ito pa rin, halos pareho lang. Grade 1, 7 years old. Can mahabol pa ba if now, again, 2007, ilang years pa? Wala pang 20 years, no? Ngayon na talaga tayo sa...
Wala pa. Malayo pa. Pwede pa yan.
Pwede pa yan. Basta walang 20 years. Pwede pa yan. Mahabol pa yan. Alright. Ayun. So, again, ako naman magpapasalamat sa mga... Again, first of all, si Joy, ang wife ko, na napakabait ko sa kanya kaya hindi siya magpa-file ng VAUSI laban sa akin. Okay. Yan. And my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, si Anne. Thank you sa panunood. Always. And then, sa mga sa mga kabanda ko, katatapos lang pala namin mag-record kanina. So, nag-record sila. Hindi ako nakasama. They were in HIP Studio kung saan kami nagre-record. And we are recording a new song. So, malapit yan lumabas. The band, The Same Moonshine. The new song, hindi ko muna announce kasi medyo secret pa, but when it comes out, maganda yan. So sana pakinggan nyo.
Nice.
Okay, sabi ni Lindy, nag-compute si Lindy. Uy, gising na si Lindy. 13 years pa lang daw yun. Ay, teka, alam mo ang early bird na naman today, si George pa rin. Anong kayang secret ni George, no? Palagi siya ang early bird every time. So last week, bibigyan na namin siya ng Wicked Man beer. So ngayon, give chance to others naman, no? So next week, ulit tayo ng bibigay ulit tayo ng...
siya ng Wicked Man beer. Ako naman magbibigay sa kanya.
Yeah.
Madami ako.
ibibigay mo sa kanya?
Okay. Pakikita ko si George eh. Malapit na.
Ay, teka, may pahabol pa rin. May time pa ba? Meron pa. May time pa. Good. Okay. How do you start and file a case? Okay, what is step one? Okay, step one, syempre, very important, tawagan mo muna yung abogado mong magaling. Ibigay ko sa yung number ko. Iwan ko dito. Tawagan mo yung... After that, of course, well, depende eh. Unang-una, ano bang ginawa? Ano bang gusto mong mangyari? If you want him or if you want him na hindi lang lumapit sa iyo, ganyan, baka kailangan mo muna ng protection order. Now, if you're applying for a barangay protection order, the very first step is punta ka sa barangay. Sabihin mo lang doon, sir, mag-file po ako ng protection order. They should know. Pero actually magugulat kami, mga barangay na hindi nila alam yan kung anong gagawin nila If they don't, well, you have to show them. You have to tell them what they have to do, no? Kasi yan sabi nga ni Sheilla kanina, ex parte. So ibig sabihin, pag kausap niyo si barangay kapitan, kailangan ko ng barangay protection order. Kahit there and then, pwede siya mag-issue ng protection order diyan, di ba? Pwede 'yon. Tapos, of course, that's step one. Next is, kung gusto mo na medyo mapatagal ng konti, kuha ka naman ng PPO sa court, which is another 30 days, no? Which is 30 days long. Dito, again, this is an ex parte proceedings, pero I believe medyo mahihirapan kayo dito, although you can, no? Pero medyo mahirapan kayo dito pag wala kayong kasamang abogado. So again, kailangan yung abogado. Or, punta kayo sa police, pwede rin yan. Meron silang tinatawag na woman's desk. Punta kayo sa police station ninyo na malapit sa inyo, ask nyo lang, ma'am, sir, saan po yung women's desk dito? Pwedeng sila sumama sa inyo sa court or sa barangay, yung police na yan. Yun. After that, mag-file na kayo ng case for kung gusto nyo makulong yung asawa nyo, de-file nyo, dire-diretso nyo yung ng vowsy para makulong sila. That's it. Ano pa ba?
Okay.
Yun, okay na? Okay.
Okay.
Scenario. Wife
Oops.
is raped before marriage. Wife feels afraid to tell parents. Wife then agrees to marriage. Hindi pa wife before marriage. Then husband goes left and right. Ibig sabihin, nagloko, goes left and right. Ano option?
Goes left and right. Ano yung babae tsaka lalaki? Diba? Hindi lang left right pa. Well, I think yung covered pa rin. Is he asking ba whether yung act before was covered? Kasi, di ba, pag ni-rape ka, tapos nagpakasal kayo, parang pinanagutan mo. But hindi ka, And then, now, kung kasal na kayo, and then sinasabi niya goes left and right, marital infidelity kasi here, which causes psychological stress, emotional suffering, it's considered psychological violence. One of the kinds of violence against women. So it is covered ng vowsy.
Correct.
Just remember, apat yung categories ng violence against women. Physical violence, sexual violence, psychological violence, and economic abuse.
Yung pinakamahirap na yung economic abuse, no?
Mm-hmm. Grabe.
So, yun.
Ano pa?
I think that's all the time we have. Medyo meron pang dumarating na tanong
Meron po. Thank you pala sa mga members ng Ayala Alabang Camera Club, especially Anofi, who are constantly watching our show every week.
Palagi silang maaga. Sila ang mga early birds. Saka nag-check natin dyan si Teacher Yo.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Ayun. So anyway, I think that's all the time we have. Kung meron pa tayong mga tanong about this topic, you can always send us some comments siguro dito sa dito sa thread na to, and babalik-balikan namin minsan tong mga thread na to so we can answer.
Yeah, kasi mahirap magtanong online. I think yung issue to medyo sensitive, especially for women, diba? So, to be hard for them to ask.
Yeah. So, yun, actually, seryoso ako, you can call the office. The office is Chavez, Miranda, and Asioche. The number is 810-970-1204, no? Tawag lang kayo doon para magtanong, no? Alright. So, kung hanggat makakatulong tayo, tutulong tayo. Pwede natin Pwede natin sagutin yung mga tanong ninyo.
Okay.
Alright?
So I
Okay.
guess
Yes?
okay na tayo tonight. Thank you again,
Yes.
everyone, for watching.
The next topic. Wait, meron ako, wait pala. Kasi our next topic would be murder, parricide, infanticide, homicide, and everything na may side, no? This is dedicated to one of my clients, si Sharon Sakasivlads, because sabi nila, I can mention this because their dad was actually murdered by their brother, no? And their anniversary ng dad niya would be September 11, 9/11 yon. So the next topic would be dedicated sa kanila. So Shalin, ayan lad. So next week, Thursday again next week, I hope to see you all. Medyo maganda yung usapan natin next week. So medyo physical naman yung ating usapan next week, no?
Okay. All right.
Right. Thank you everyone, and again, we thank you for watching YoLaw. Good
And
night.
Carlo, we have to invite to watch other shows of TNC also.
Oo,
Like
mamaya.
the big picture.
Yeah.
I'll just go through them very quickly para malaman lang nila. The big picture, Mondays to Fridays at 7 p.m. HR Hotline, Thursdays and Saturdays, and Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Family Business, Saturday at 4 p.m. Usapang Beauty, every Thursday, Saturdays, 5:30 p.m. U-Turn, Mondays and Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. The Home Buyer, Mondays and Thursdays, 4 p.m. And the Puppet Stories, Mondays, 5:30. TNC Marketplace, it's an online night bazaar, Thursdays and Fridays at 10 p.m. Then after shift, Wednesdays and Fridays, 8:30. And then Win Win, Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Dream, Achieve, and Inspire. This is the Danny Art Show on Fridays at 5:30 p.m. And then COVID Stories, this is a new show. They feature mga COVID survivors and their stories. And also we have Foreign Affairs about global issues. And then we have Money and More, which streams live every Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. And then Healthline on Wednesdays and Fridays, and TNC original shows such as One Day, TNC Town Hall, and hosted by the founders of TNC, Lloyd and Apple. And of course, YoLaw every Thursdays at 8:30 p.m.
So after this, meron pang another live show, which is the TNC Marketplace. Mamayang 10 o'clock. Siya, parang online bazaar siya, live bazaar. So meron kayong magustuhan doon na mabibili. Watch lang kayo.
Yes. Okay, see you again next week.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening.
Thank you.